It's probably safe to say I am older than the average headfire.
Yeah, that's pretty safe to say.
I knew you were going to agree very enthusiastically and way too quickly, but it's true. It's true. I'm older than the average headfire, and that means I'm old enough to remember the more the experience of listening to music the old way,
right?
A more experiential way, which was going to the record store, picking albums, with me vinyl.
Yeah, for me, cassettes and CDs.
There you go, and that, of course, cassettes and CDs for me as well later. And today we don't do that.
No, because back in the day, I would have enough money for one album. You go to the store, and then you're thinking, I have 3 or 4 I want to choose from, but you have to choose the one that you're taking home that
week.
Right,
yeah, exactly, because I had a budget for maybe 1 or 2 albums when I was young. And so that's just something that I think a lot of young people can't understand today, because everything is at their fingertips now.
Right.
But it made you cherish the music in some ways even more. Like you gave thought. Anyway, this is my way of introducing a product that I am so incredibly excited about, that I frankly didn't realize how excited about it I would be. And it's the DUNU Concept R. R stands for retro. It is, as you can see on the table, a portable CD player.
Right.
And I call it more of a transportable CD player. But it's such a beautiful piece of kit. When it arrived, I went downstairs where my CD collection is. I have a pretty big CD collection. And I was so excited to revisit every one of these albums because, well, not all of them. There's a lot of them there. But a lot of these albums, again, every one of them, though, in the collection that I gave thought to.
Yeah.
That meant something to me and that means something to me. Brought a handful of them up, queued them up. I'm loving the Concept R from DUNU. So let's talk about what it is. Again, portable CD player that has a very retro design.
Yeah, I love the styling on this thing.
I love the styling. It's kind of an amalgam of any number of old components.
Yeah.
It doesn't just look like a portable CD player. It looks like a lot of things could be happening with it.
Right.
And it's also beautifully built. So I've never had a portable CD player built to this level. I mean, this is the chassis is CNC. It's CNC machined aluminum, aircraft grade aluminum, aerospace grade aluminum. Retro inspired digital slider for precise volume control, and it feels beautiful.
Yeah.
I love that control. That's a very old style control.
It is.
Intuitive single button track navigation.
Yep.
You know, that's a big deal in the CD days. With a lot of portable CD players, you had to hit sequentially the track you wanted. So that meant if you want to go track 10, you had to hit it like 10 times.
Yep.
With this, you can just go to track 3, hit 3. There's a keypad for it. Track 9, hit 9. Reference grade tuning tailored for audiophile precision and tonal accuracy. And they achieve this by giving us not just a retro CD player, but giving us what headfires today want and expect from a piece of kit. They accomplish that with an R-to-R DAC, for example.
Right.
And they say it's the world's first fully discrete R-to-R portable CD player. I'm not surprised. 192 meticulously matched resistors in that R-to-R DAC.
Yep.
And you might be wondering why such a complicated R-to-R DAC for CD, which is 16-bit, 44.1 kilohertz. It's because it's also a high-res USB DAC.
Yeah.
So it's also a discrete R-to-R USB DAC, which I think is fantastic. Fully balanced 4-channel differential output for enhanced separation and dynamics, 1.3 watts high power output capable of driving demanding high impedance headphones. I've used IEMs and headphones with it. Drives it beautifully, essentially low to no self-noise. Switchable Class A and AB amplification.
Yeah.
So far, I've just kept it in Class A. I'm sure I can find a use case for Class AB, but I've used it almost exclusively in Class A so far. Beautiful sounding player.
Yeah.
Beautiful sounding USB DAC. And it got me re-engaging with a collection that means a great deal to me. I know a lot of people today, a lot of young people, younger than me, are into vinyl. And I think they enjoy that experience.
Right.
CDs, if you haven't gotten into that yet, I'm serious, try it. Because I am enjoying the living daylights out of going through my CD collection again because of the Concept R. What a beautiful piece of kit. For me, it's kind of an important piece of kit because it got me downstairs again, looking through my stuff. And I love it. So at CanJam, Concept R cannot be missed.
So on the table right now, we have DUNU's Model 53 Waldstein, and it's unique in a number of very different ways, and a lot of them quite nice.
Yeah, its name is unique too.
Yeah, the name is definitely unique.
Yeah.
So DUNU says the Model 53 Waldstein, its design pays homage to Beethoven's Waldstein Piano Sonata No. 21, aiming to replicate its sense of awakening and clarity. So that's why it inherited that name. Now, inside of this is a quad channel, fully balanced battery powered headphone amplifier. We'll talk about that battery in a second here. It's designed in collaboration with DUNU Audio, and it is the official headphone for DUNU's full-size headphone, their planar magnetic Arashi. Now, it's their first full-size desktop scale headphone amplifier designed for their first full-size headphone. I think that's a wonderful combination. It's fantastic.
A headphone we both love, by the way.
Oh, we love these two, and they sound phenomenal together.
They do indeed.
So that headphone amplifier has 2 gain settings, and in high gain, it'll deliver 1200 milliwatts at 64 ohms when you're running balanced on battery, and it can do up to 300 milliwatts at 600 ohms. So a good amount of oomph into something that's a little more demanding. However, it also has a linear power supply option, and if you have that linear power supply, which we don't currently, if you have it, it can do up to 1,850 milliwatts into 64 ohms and up to 500 milliwatts into 600 ohms. So again, running balanced, it's got a lot of oomph when you got that power supply in there.
Yeah, I would like to get that power supply in at some point because I saw another spec here, 950 milliwatts into 300 ohms.
Yeah.
We have a lot of 300 ohm headphones here that a few in particular that I'd really like to try that with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So its chassis is CNC machined from a single block of aluminum. That's 6063 aluminum alloy. And they have a nice sandblasted surface finish to it. So it has a very elegant, subtle, classy look, and I think it's beautiful.
The whole fit and finish is gorgeous. The switches feel great.
Yes, they
do. The volume knob feels heavy. I love that.
I love that resistance that it has. Now, we were talking about the batteries. I want to mention that the batteries inside of this, there are 6 Sanyo NCR 18650 cells, which deliver about 24 hours of continuous playback, according to DUNU's measurements, because that's about 88 watt hours of total capacity. And they say that this system ensures stable and pure sound output in various environments, such as offices, dorm rooms, living rooms, and bedrooms. And that's why the battery is in there, because it's going to be separating the amplifier circuit from whatever power you're feeding it.
Like from the main circuit.
Exactly.
Right.
So they have that distinction. And then if you have the linear power supply, it takes the battery out of the circuit entirely, and it's running straight from that linear power supply. Now, it also has some phenomenal components in here. I mean, incredible things. So for example, it's got Panasonic signal relays, Nichicon KZ water tank capacitors, additional capacitors from KZ and Elna, Neotech 7-in OCC silver internal wiring.
There's a lot of stuff on that list.
There's so much stuff on that list.
The stuff from Vishay.
Yeah. It's crazy. They've paid so much attention to what goes into this to get an incredible sound out of it. I mean, this pairing together, if anybody has the opportunity to try these two together at CanJam, definitely do. And if you don't, absolutely listen to the headphone amplifier with your favorite headphones, because it's incredible. From IEMs to full-size headphones, it can drive pretty much anything.
Yeah, they actually even mentioned specifically in our notes here, high signal-to-noise ratio, exceptional compatibility with IEMs.
Yeah.
In our community, that's very important. Signal-to-noise ratio up to 132 dB A-weighted, so extremely quiet in terms of self-noise. So yeah, though it's made for the Arashi, or with that in mind, like you said, it should drive pretty much anything.
Oh, yeah. This is DUNU's Studio SA6 EST, and I'm so happy they sent this over for us to try, because I've kind of fallen in love with it.
Yes, you have.
So the SA6 EST, inside, it's an 8-driver hybrid, and that's comprised of 6 balanced armatures with 2 Sonian custom low-frequency BAs, 2 Knowles custom mid-high frequency BAs, and 2 Knowles custom high-frequency BAs, paired with 2 of Sonian's custom ultra-high frequency ESTs. Now, it's on the outside, it's finished in a custom nebula faceplate, which I think is absolutely beautiful.
It is beautiful.
And then the cable that comes with is quite nice, because it's terminated with DUNU's Q-Lock Plus interchangeable plugs. They call it the Hulk Pro Mini cable, and it comes with a 4.4 millimeter termination and 3.5 millimeter termination, so you're pretty much set to go straight out of the box, whether you want to run balanced or single-ended.
I love the way they executed the interchangeable plug concept.
I really do too. And the studio in the name kind of gives you a hint where they might have been going with the sound signature, because to me, this is well within my wheelhouse. I love this signature. So starting at the low end, I find it a little bit elevated. Not much, but enough for me to say that's a little elevated.
Still within your range, though.
Still within my range.
Okay.
Oh, absolutely.
All right.
Mid sound fantastic, and there's some wonderful stuff going on in the high end. There's a really nice treble resolution and detail that comes through, and I can sit and listen to these for hours. I absolutely love them.
I know you do. The funny thing is, when I hear them, so our bass preferences are definitely different. I tend to like more bass than you do, for sure. You hear them as, I knew you'd hear them as maybe slightly elevated, which you do.
Just slightly, yeah.
And for me, they're not elevated at all in the bass. So what I say about them is the bass hits, but isn't emphasized to me, but it does hit beautifully.
It does.
Lively, forward-sounding, treble sparkle.
Yes.
And I feel like with the ESTs, they're not defining the treble.
No, I agree. It's kind of like an enhancement.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're not like using them to fully define the treble. Like
Exactly.
You said, yeah, like enhancing the treble. It has an airy presentation, which is probably what the ESTs are doing, enhancing for air. And I can see why Brian enjoyed these so much. That's in my listening notes. You made my listening notes.
Hey.
So the funny thing is the treble is on the upper range of my preference.
I can see it.
And yet doesn't cross it. So there you go. I like that. And when I heard that, I knew that for you, you're like, what I consider on the upper end of my range is probably square in the middle of your range. So yeah, love the SA6 ESTs.
Yeah, if anybody asks me what they should try at CanJam, I'm telling them go here.
This is the DUNU DK3001BD.
Yep.
Now we both love the way these look.
Yeah.
They're kind of kitschy looking. Now I'm a lot older than you, so when I see these, I'm reminded of like maybe a prop from 2001: Space Odyssey.
Yeah, great movie.
Yeah, but you're a lot younger. The intended reference wasn't lost on you.
No, because these are the DK3001BD, and shortly after they arrived, we learned that BD stands for brain dance. So if there are any cyberpunk players out there, hey, because that's a core mechanic to the cyberpunk gameplay, and they have a very cyberpunk style to them. I love the look.
Nerd.
Yeah.
But anyways, so let's talk about what they are. Inside, they are a 9-driver tribrid, flagship Glacier low-frequency dynamic driver. I'm not sure what that means.
That's DUNU's driver, yeah.
Okay. 4 balanced armatures with custom mid-high balanced armatures, and 4 planar magnetic drivers.
Yeah.
So very interesting driver complement.
Very.
The shell is aerospace-grade aluminum alloy housing with zirconium ceramic coated shell.
I love the finish.
And
Yep.
again, we both love the way it looks. The cable comes with Q-Lock mini interchangeable plugs, 4.4 millimeter and 3.5 millimeter.
Yeah.
We both really love that interchangeable plug system
Yes.
that DUNU developed. Now, here are my listening notes. Treble sounds forward to me at the upper end of my personal preference range for treble, not to be mistaken for harsh.
But see, that's my favorite part of the signature.
I knew it would be.
Yep.
I knew, but he likes treble.
Yeah.
I love treble too, and that as long as it doesn't cross my upper range, we're good. And with these, we're good. So I said I really enjoy the treble detail with the DK3001BD. It adds nice texture to the
Yes.
signature, so you'd agree. Bass is strong, but taut. Mid-range being spared any of the bass's boost.
Yeah, they controlled it very well.
Yeah, so there's some bass elevation for sure, but the mids seem untouched by it to my ears. Imaging, nice separation.
Yeah.
That's all I put in there. I could have done better than that. It images very beautifully, actually, especially for the price. The DK3001BD sounds as fun as it looks. There we go back to the looks again.
Yeah.
Those kitschy looks. I actually love the way they look,
I do too.
and I really enjoy the way they sound. I mean, honestly, we both guessed that they'd be priced quite a bit higher than they actually are.
Yes, exactly.